All right, I think I'm live. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a happy New Year's, happy holidays. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I was hosting for the New Year's for my husband's friends over the weekend, so lots of fun. But feel okay today, but a little drained. But looking to get back um, in touch with everyone and excited for the new year and all the wonderful things coming in for the new year. I'll say I haven't done my predictions video yet. I've been writing notes, getting that all worked on. But I did post a little message from Spirit for the new year of 2024 a couple days ago. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out. Lots of good advice coming in for that. Just a couple of announcements, and then I will be reading your political and current event questions today. So as always, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. Please please subscribe. I've had a lot of people lately asking that they don't get notified when I go live, and so just make sure that you're clicking on that notification bell when you subscribe, and you can customize it and turn all on, and then you'll be notified for all live shows or shows coming up. So for shows for the week, I'm going to be on Susan Lynn's channel tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. I believe I'll be on Mel's channel on Thursday, and on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be doing my members group, our live stream. We'll be doing our Reiki healing circle and prayer circle. So if anybody's interested in that, please consider becoming a member. I have the link in the description box of this video, also on my main YouTube page. You can click on that and become a member, and it's a lot of fun, a little bit more intimate, smaller group, but we do our Reiki prayer circle every month, and also Ask Me Your Questions live stream. So looking forward to all of that. And I don't know if next Tuesday I'll be on or not. I'm going to see how I feel. I have a dental appointment on Monday, so I'm always a bit sensitive with that. So depending on how I feel, depending if I'm on, but I have a lot of fun collaborations in the works and shows for January, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then lastly, before we begin, if you'd like a reading, Reiki session, combination of both, send me an email at kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com, and we can get you all set up there. Again, information in the description box. All right. Hello, everyone. Enough with the announcements. I just got some questions started. I haven't been watching the news a whole lot. I've been taking a bit of a break with the holidays. I was watching a little bit. I do want to send some love out to Japan. They just had a pretty bad earthquake, and I think they had a very small tsunami, but it wasn't too bad. But sending them a lot of love. I keep on feeling too, like, I don't know if it's going to happen while I'm live or not, but I feel like we're on the precipice of some big breaking news. I don't know. Feels like some big stuff happening here in the ether. All right, you guys. Get some questions start here. Oh, Granny Eleanor got the notification. Perfect. All right. Let's take a look at some of the questions. Maggie Who, in Wisconsin, are fake electors and alleged traitor Ron Johnson face accountability? Oops. What did I just do there? There we go. All right, let's take a look. I've always said I felt Ron Johnson getting in trouble for his part in January 6th. I do feel like activity around Wisconsin and the fake electors. Maybe more about that coming out in the springtime of 2024. Yeah, he's got the tower coming in, but it's a bit delayed. Yeah, I think there's multiple people here um, trying to that are implicated in this. I have a female energy coming in, law and order here. Um, again, four, so maybe four people being in with this for the Wisconsin electors that are facing serious time, even jail time. It does feel like a bit of being patient, so things coming into fruition, but then the tower hits. We have the Justice card, a bad judgment, and heartbreak for Ron Johnson and the fake electors. So yeah, I do feel that absolutely. Oh yeah, Ronna McDaniel. Yeah, and I think she's going to step down as RNC chair here soon too. All right. Thank you for the question, Maggie. Yeah, Ron Johnson tried to personally hand VP Pence the list of fake electors and Michigan electors. It didn't work out. Yeah, and I see Ron Johnson in trouble with that in regards to January 6th and the planning of all that too. Federal indictments coming for him. Okay, you guys. Earth Mama wants to know, do you think Ukraine will have elections soon? Have they not had elections because of the war going on? I don't know when they're supposed to or how their system really works, but um, thank you. I'll look at that in a second, Connie. I did say I felt breaking news. Um, I almost feel like there's a delay with the elections. So I don't know if they've already delayed or if they're going to delay. But I feel once things de-escalate in Ukraine, because I do feel the war de-escalating and settling down in 2024, when Putin's gone, it's not going to be quite as intense as what it has been. Maybe the election happening after that. Yeah, and Ron Johnson was in Russia during the fourth. Yeah, and I've always felt that coming up with the Russian money. All right, so I hadn't heard this, but Connie B says breaking news last night: man breaks into Colorado Supreme Court and opens fire. Wow, and he was arrested. Thank you. I've wrote it down, but I haven't gotten super specific in it. But I do feel like 2024. Um, I think globally, worldwide, I just feel like there's some civil unrest and protests and even some terrorist action globally. I definitely feel like it's kind of scattered all over the place. Um, but yeah, I'd heard that the Colorado Supreme Court was getting a lot of threats because of their ruling on Trump taking him off the primary ballot. Yeah, and I saw that the Harvard president Gabe resigned today. Yeah, she was getting a lot of pressure too. Interesting, Karen. She says she believes the Ukraine constitution prevents them from having elections when they're at war. It is different in the US. We vote no matter what. Yeah, I felt a delay. I felt a delay for that. I'm not sure when they're supposed to have their election. Okay. And Earth Mom had asked too why Russia's throwing fire on uh, Kiev. What is wrong with them? Yeah. Well, and Putin and the military officials were really upset about that um, warship being um, destroyed, and I did feel some retaliation against that. So I think that's why we've been seeing a lot of drone activity and all that. But Ukraine's doing pretty good at downing most of their missiles and their drones. But I do feel like I've always felt like spring things start to de-escalate. Spring summer next year. Oh, thank you, Liz. Yeah, please hit that thumbs up. It really helps. All right. How is Chief Roberts feeling about the Trump hearings? I don't think he's looking forward to them. I almost feel with Roberts, and I'm not a fan, obviously, but I feel like between Trump and the extremism in the Republican Party, and also all of the corruption for the conservative justices, I get a sense of like pressure and frustration with the conservatives and with Trump. I don't think Roberts will vote in favor of giving Trump presidential immunity. I've said that. And I even feel, well, I don't know if I feel with the Supreme, with the cases of the states taking him off the primary. I've always kind of felt like they'll make some kind of excuse and say he hasn't been charged, even though it says that he doesn't need to be, but of insurrection. But I felt like that kind of sliding. But I just get frustration and in a sense of like disappointment and pressure is what Roberts is feeling. And yeah, he's trying to hang on. He's anxious too. He's trying to hold the conservatives and the Republican Party together, but he knows that it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy ride. Yeah, he's waiting for this tower moment to happen. He's got 4 pentacles, so trying to hang on to money, trying to hang on to power, but I think he sees the writing on the wall with the 9 of Swords. He's very anxious. He's still committed to the conservatives right now, but there's a big implosion happening here soon, and then it's kind of like, well, what do I do? Planning for his future. Lots of secrets coming out, and I think even more so um, on some of the justices taking money. But I do ultimately see rules and regulations being in place where um, they can't take these donations for funding. If there's a bias there, they need to recuse themselves. And I do even feel term limits eventually for Supreme Court justices. But yeah, he's anxious is what I'm feeling. And I think anxious too about threats coming from the MAGAs with the ruling about presidential immunity. All right. Yeah, Karen, shout out to the Ukrainian air defense. And I still see fighter planes coming in for Ukraine. And I told you too, I felt like other countries stepping up while we don't have our act together and giving Ukraine funding. And I'd heard that Japan, I think, just gave Ukraine $1 billion until we get some kind of funding passed for them. So I see continued help for Ukraine. Yes, entertainment purposes only. Thank you, Connie. Yeah, I do feel the war slowing down this year, J Cat Lady. I don't see it completely ending, but I've always said it feels like a major de-escalation, and then um, where we're not seeing like all this destruction in Ukraine, but once Putin's out of the picture, them trying to negotiate or fighting over territories that Russia's claimed, like in the east and Crimea, but I don't see Ukraine backing down from that. Yes, Connie. I just said that DC will appeal. Um, will the appeals court reject Trump's immunity? I do feel so, yes. And the Supreme Court, too. I feel like it will go to the Supreme Court. All right. Yeah. And I did hear that Nikki Haley just said that if she becomes president, she'll pardon Trump. I don't see it, you guys. I keep on getting emails from people, too, that are scared that, you know, big psychics who I won't name say that they see Trump winning. I can just tell you what I'm feeling, and I do not feel that way at all. And if I were wrong, and Trump became president, which I get a very strong resounding no, that's not going to happen. But if it did happen, while it would be scary, clearly there's more things to be unearthed and truth to come out, and ultimately it leads. Um, it's a hard lesson, but it leads to um, it leads to more things that need to happen to strengthen our democracy. And I honestly, I've said all along, I feel like that's what Trump was meant to teach us. Um, all the fractures in our democracy, and not taking it for jeopardy. And because of Trump and because of a lot of the corruption, I do see a lot of rules and regulations happening that will safeguard our democracy. So I don't feel that, but we got a year away still. Let's try not to tap into the fear. Like I said in my last video, 2024 is going to be such a powerful year of manifesting and us accomplishing our dreams. But it's so important to be mindful where we're placing our attention and our energy, and really rising above the fear. Because I do feel like 2024, a lot of exciting things happen, but a lot of turmoil too. So we have to stay nice and grounded and just breathe and keep that faith. It's so important. I've heard of other psychics that have said that they feel Trump will be reelected. I don't see that at all, and if I did, I would tell you guys, but I don't see that. April says, "Are there any Supreme Court justices on Epstein's list?" No, I don't think so. I'm not picking that up. Trump will not pardon, or Biden will not pardon Trump. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Kathy says the DC appeals court hearing is scheduled for January 9th. They're moving fast. I told you guys, I was a bit surprised when the Supreme Court didn't take Jack Smith's case about expediting it, because I heard the word expedited, but I do think that it's going to move quickly throughout the courts. Somebody had asked too, and let me see if I can find it, but um, and now, of course, I can't find it. Somebody asked if Chutkin's case is going to take place in March. And I feel like it might be just like a week or two delayed, but it's not going to. It will. The DC case will happen before the elections, way before. Yes, amen. Rise above the fear. Get out to vote. Use use that fear as that motivating factor to really go out there and get your friends and family and everybody excited to vote, and let them know how serious and important it is to vote. And Sharon says she gets no on Trump getting reelected. I really don't see it. Yes, we need to raise our vibrations, get out of the fear. It's going to be so important, because if we're in the fear, we're just going to continue to give energy and amplify that fear energy, and it's just going to get even. It's going to get even that fear is going to get even stronger and stronger. It'll suck you down that rabbit hole. Um, so, yeah, just ground, breathe. If the news is getting you anxious, or um, if you watch other readers that get you anxious, spend your time and energy in places that resonate with you and uplift you rather than bring you down energetically. It's so important. Do you see Democrats holding the Senate? I do. Where the energy sits right now, I absolutely do, Casey. I actually feel like there might be like a two-seat gain for Democrats, and it's a really tough Senate map for Democrats too. But where the energy sits right now, I do see Democrats keeping the presidency, flipping the House, and keeping the Senate. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. But I just feel so much positive progress coming in 2025 and 2026 that I I feel like things are starting to change, and that's not going to be the case if Republicans take one of the branches. What is Melania waiting for to leave Trump? Well, when Trump starts losing money, we'll see her start to leave. I almost feel like maybe summertime because they're not really together right now. But I think when she really feels the threat of him losing everything, I think that separation will happen then. Thanks, Colleen. That's what I try to do. I try to calm you guys down. That's part of my mission for being on YouTube. Yes, I've said it many times. Um, I feel like there's a strong possibility, Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker before the 2024 election. I've had other people disagree with that or see him coming in after the elections. I don't know. It's very hard to see what's going on in the Republican Party because it's so chaotic and there's so much up in the air, and one person's reaction to something or how they act on it, it's not, it's very unpredictable. So, but I do feel energy strongly that Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker and even possibly before the 2024 election. Karen thinks that the SCOTUS will skip the immunity ruling. Yeah, if they do, if they don't take it up, it will be handed down to the appeals court, and I see them saying, presidents aren't, they don't have absolute immunity. Oh yeah, high-ranking Russians um, making window exits. I think that tells you right there exactly um, Putin's state. I'm telling you guys, he's not well. If the health doesn't take him out, I feel like protests and maybe even a threat for his life taking him out in 20. If it doesn't feel like it's too far, I always pick up spring of 2024. Will any of Trump's trials be televised? I do feel yes. Is it? I think maybe Georgia will be televised. Sweetie, darling Lula. I didn't. I was not picking up on the DC case being televised, although I think it really should be. But um, I felt like a push for it, but I think that they would have to get special permission from the Supreme Court, which I don't see them doing. But I do feel like with the DC case, either reporters are going to be able to be in the courtroom real time, and they're kind of running in and out, um, giving up everything. So I do feel like we're going to know a lot. It's just we're not going to see it. Yes, keep your eye and energy on the positive progress that's incoming. Absolutely. Yonique says, "Happy New Year, all. Will Trump pick male or female VP?" I feel a female. I could be wrong, but I've always felt a male and a female on both sides, uh, Republican and Democratic. But I've said too, it feels very weird to me because, and this is again where it's hard to read the Republican Party because there's just so much chaos, um, and it's so murky to kind of get through that energy to see it clearly. But I almost feel like there's energy of Trump getting the nomination, and then he's not around come voting time next fall. I don't know if that's because he's charged, if it's a health crisis. He runs. I've never personally felt him running before the election, but who knows? I've always felt like that's maybe like his last resort plan if he needed to was to run to the Middle East. But I feel a male female on both sides. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I hope you all had a great holiday season too. I'm trying to recover from it, but I'm feeling good today. No, Rusty, there's I think it's two seats, but they'll have special elections for McCarthy's district and somebody else. And I see Santos' seat in New York flipping to the Democrats, so that will be a gain. Um, but I do feel more people leaving before the 2024 election. And I almost feel like there's a couple Republicans that are, I've said it for a while, the Republican Party will fracture and almost kind of have like a civil war amongst it. And I feel like some of the Republicans, finally growing a spine and just saying, listen, the Trumpism, the MAGA, it needs to be cut out of the party because it's just going to destroy us, and really taking a strong stance. And because of that, I do feel like toward before the next election, there is even some bipartisanship and possibly Hakeem Jeffries being speaker. Oh, interesting. Casey says Maggie Haberman of New York Times reported Trump is afraid of SCOTUS. Yeah. Well, I can just tell you what I'm feeling, Apple. I do not feel Putin as well at all. And I've actually even heard, too, that there's been reports that AI that does the facial recognitions has said that it's a body double for Putin in his public speeches and, um, conferences and all of that, that the face recognition doesn't match up. Sometimes psychics pick up something really significant a while before it happens. But it's just feeling that energy and getting that hit. But I'm telling you, Putin is not well. You can believe me or don't believe me. That's just what I get. I get it so strongly. I don't see an open window for Putin, but I guess if you're going to use that as um, symbolic, then yes, but not a physical window for Putin, Kathy. Patricia says, after Biden's second term is over, do you see a Democrat or Republican winning in the next election? I do feel energy that it could be either or, Patricia. I don't feel like that is set in stone. I almost feel like it might be. I do feel strongly like Newsom. It's like almost like a fight between Kamala and Newsom for 2028. But I do feel like it more than likely will be Newsom. And but on the Republican side, um, what's the governor from Virginia? I don't know if he gets the nomination, but I see him as somebody to watch. Youngkin. I haven't seen it clearly yet on who will win in 2028. All right. Thank you all for the questions. 500 people watching. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Trump will not pick Nikki Haley as his VP. I don't feel that at all, Connie. I feel like it might be. I think somebody just said Carrie Lake. which I could see as a possibility. Um, but even the South Dakota governor, Kristi Noem, she kind of stands out to me. But I do not see it being Nikki Haley at all. Yeah, he is being advised to pick a VP that's not a flamethrower. No, Trump will not pick Tulsi Gabbard as VP. I don't see that at all. No, I don't see Boebert or MTG being Trump's VP. Boebert's leaving, even though she switched her districts. I think her primary challenger is going to win the nomination in that district. I see Boebert out, and she's got some trouble for January 6th stuff coming up too. Can you look at Robert Kennedy Jr. and his effect on Trump and Biden votes? I don't see him being a threat to Biden, Wayward. I really don't. I think they've shown some polling where or Robert Kennedy Jr. Gets like 17-20% of the vote. I don't see it being anywhere near that. Maybe a couple percentages, but I almost feel like it's more coming from MAGAs and the Republican Party than actual Democrats voting for him. I don't see Democrats viewing him very favorably. No, I don't think it will be Kimberly Gargoyle. I could be wrong. Like I said, I feel energy like Kristi Noem is what came through to me, but I think he is and was strongly considering Carrie Lake too. I guess we'll see. It'll be interesting, but I don't think I'm telling you guys, he will not pick Nikki Haley as his VP. I don't feel it at all. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Sorry, you guys. Yes, I do. I've told you, 2024. I do feel it's not even just GOP. There's even people in the Democratic Party that have taken dark foreign money that will be exposed in 2024. Absolutely, and charged. I'm way behind in the chat. Okay, I'm catching up, you guys. Amanda says, "Have you seen the video of Trump at his New Year's party? He looks like he's in another world. Something's wrong with him mentally or physically or both." I've said it for a while. I think it's both. I've said even when he was president, I felt like there was some dementia. I didn't pick up Alzheimer's, but there's definitely feeling trapped in his mind space. That coming through really strongly for me. No, I think Sarah Palin's done, Kathy. Will Trump testify at any trial or just plead the fifth? I do feel him testifying, but it's creating a bigger and bigger circus, trying not to answer the question that's given to him. He turns it into this is he plays the victim in the martyr, like this is just an attack against me, and is crying and angry, whining, all of that. It doesn't answer a whole lot of questions. He's got a lot of cases, I think, in January, or decisions for cases being done in January. So it's going to be really interesting how January maps out for Trump. I do see him pleading the fifth too, but Yeah, he's got a lot of loss. I feel like a lot of those around him, his family, his colleagues coming out and giving the details, there's an ending for Trump. I don't know if it's physical or if the court cases take him out of the race. But Judge Chutkan is coming in really strong specifically. Trump, there's loss here being out in the cold for Trump. He tries his best to kind of deflect all of the secrets, all of the things in the dark, but I see it coming out. All right. So I would say both. I do see him testifying, but not really answering a whole lot. No, Kathy says Kennedy is on Epstein's flight logs. Interesting. The Epstein list, I said it's going to be huge, and I feel like it's going to. I think it will probably come up this month, if not February, but it seems within the next month or two. I do feel like a lot of big names being on it, but for me, I do pick up like it probably being more so people that were in government or positions of power 10, 20 years ago. But I do think that there'll be some in power now that get pulled up into it. So it's coming up soon. When I threw it out the last time, the tower came jumping out of my deck. So it's gonna be big. All right. I'm sorry, you guys. Trying to catch up with the chat. Yes, Fonnie Willis will have her case against Trump. It might not be finished before the election, but do they have a date for it now? It's so hard to keep track of everything. I almost feel like it won't be finished, but maybe that's starting in the summer of 2024. Yeah, August. August feels good, Casey. She wants August. Okay. No offense, you guys, but I really don't care to hear what other readers say. If you have a question that is something that somebody else has read on, please send it. But I don't really care for the comparisons because, you know, I can just tell you what I pick up, and it could be different from what somebody else picks up. It could be the same too, but just send me the question. You don't have to say another reader said this or saw this. Thanks. All right. Jane was saying, how dangerous could it get with countries building robots? It's going to be interesting. We're going to obviously the AI and the technology, and even for healthcare, I see really just exploding and a lot of progress in 2024. But it's going to take, it's going to take them time to build those rules and regulations for the AI. So I do feel like some people are definitely scared of it until we get those safeguards in place. But we can't be afraid of it because it is our future and it's going to play such a significant role. So while it might take a while to kind of get that all regulated and everything, it's going to ultimately benefit us tremendously going into the future. But I do feel like there'll be a really strong and strict regulations for that. Okay. Well, Mike Johnson stepped down as Speaker before the election. I do believe so. Absolutely. He actually, I feel like he might be voted out again, like McCarthy was. Yeah, I think that Robin says May 20th for the documents case. I think that's going to be pushed back, unfortunately. Yeah, I do see Mike Johnson stepping down or being forced to step down from Speaker before the next election. Um, It'll be interesting because I do feel like it's going to be a hard time with the budget that needs to go through. I think it's sometime this month for part of it and February for the other part. Um, I said before, I feel like there might be a short shutdown, but I do see them kind of flipping on Mike Johnson like they did on McCarthy. Well, thanks, Kathy. I didn't redecorate. I got a new desk and I kind of redid my format of my office so it looks more open and it just looks a little bit nicer. But thank you. I do see more states trying to take Trump off the ballot. Yes, I felt like there might be like two more or four in total, is what I was picking up. I don't know when the next search of Mar-a-Lago is, but I do almost feel like I do feel more energy towards a search at the New Jersey place. Just lost the name of it. His Trump's place in Jersey. Somebody will post it. Oh, yeah, Celine Dion's kind of going through a hard time. For a while, I'm afraid to say Ava. Bedminster, thank you, Tani. I do feel I don't know if I feel like it's the end of her career. I don't see like a big tour, but maybe a performance or two. But it feels like it's a while down the road, unfortunately. Sending her a lot of love. Yeah, she's had a hard time for a while since her husband passed. Really struggling. Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, Susan, I've read on it. I do feel like they'll find a binder, and there were several copies made and shared. I think even with foreign governments. Yeah, somebody did ask. I wasn't necessarily seeing that, Rebecca. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't see her doing concerts either, Jamie. I do feel like she'll have a performance though, but maybe it's after a lot of therapy, or maybe them releasing music that she'd already recorded. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if it's associated with this earthquake. I know that they've had a lot of aftershocks, Kathy, but I do feel like there's some more earthquake activity for Japan. I said before, the Pacific Ring of Fire is going to be extremely active in 2024. I feel like earthquakes, volcano eruptions, um, some flooding, coastal flooding. It's going to be really, really active in 2024. When I get to my 2024 predictions and I get it all written out, I'll share kind of some of my hits. But I do feel earthquakes. I don't even know if maybe a volcano eruption for Japan. Jeff Jackson from North Carolina become the new Attorney General. I don't think so. I'm not sure who that is, Skittles, but it's not really resonating really strong with me. cure for Celine's illness. Yeah. Ivanka will not be his VP. I don't see his kid or um, any of his kids being VP. All right, Cindy P. When Biden is reelected, will we finally see the filthy rich pay a fair share of taxes? They paid less than I did as an elementary school teacher. Absolutely. That's why I'm telling you, I don't see any possibility of Republicans taking any of the branches in 2024 because I just feel like there's so much progress and investments into our country, and a lot of that is going to happen because um, the tax structures change, where wealthy people who hide their income in stocks or property, I do see them finding a way to tax them and them having to pay their fair share. Absolutely. It might be more into 2025. Um, Cindy, I don't think it'll be this year, but absolutely. Will Jonathan Nez beat Eli Crane for Arizona's second district? I don't know who either is. Let's see what the pendulum says, but I am unfortunately, I'm resonating more with Eli Crane, Connie. Will Jonathan Nez beat Eli Crane for Arizona's District 2 representative in 2024? Pendulum's not really giving me an answer. It's saying maybe. I think if it were held today or where the energy currently sits, it's the Republican, but I think it might be tight, Connie. Remind me when we get closer to the election. I'll read on that. All right. Trump's tax acts will expire after 2025. Okay. Well, maybe it's 2026 then. I don't know, Tanya. I haven't seen it really clearly yet. If Trump is replaced and I get a clear vision on that, I will definitely let you know. Like I said, it's very, very murky to kind of tap into the Republican Party because it's just chaos. I do see Netanyahu. I don't know if it's voted out. I feel like a lot of protests in Israel to get him out of there. And I almost feel like a woman will take his place, is what I was picking up. And she'll be crucial in getting that two-state solution. I don't know if he leaves in 2024. It might be 2025, but I do see Netanyahu leaving. Well, for entertainment purposes only, I don't. I believe Epstein to be dead, is what I feel, but I don't think he killed himself. So we'll leave it at that. Yes, I've said it for a while. Taylor Swift will have a significant effect on the election. I think for Democrats and Biden, but also I see her getting behind um, that woman in Tennessee that's running against Marsha Blackburn, Gloria Johnson. Yeah, I see her gaining a lot of momentum with young voters and new voters to get them out to vote. Oh, thank you, Mary. Welcome. When will Cancun cruise be gone? I don't feel like he's going to win his reelection. I said that for a while. I felt like he should have left. He didn't technically win the last one. I have to be very careful about um, what I say about elections and cheating. So I'll just leave it at that. But I don't feel like I feel like Texas will be purple in 2024, and I see him out. I do pick up that it's going to be a bit of a hard time in Texas though this winter. I don't know if they've already started getting colder temperatures, but I do pick that up. And unfortunately, with the storm season. I feel like some flooding along coastal Texas next year. Robin says, regrettably feel that the news cycles are reporting doom for Democrats. Yeah, they have. How can we change this? I would be very, if you feel like the news is sucking you into the fear, they do that. The news wants you to watch the news. So if you're in a state of fear, you're going to continue to watch more and more, and they make more money. I would say, you know, watch in moderations or find news channels that you resonate with. I don't watch a whole lot of the news anymore. I do watch some Midas Touch on YouTube. So there's different forms of it. But also, I would just say this: the news cycles have been reporting doom for Democrats since Biden won. Even before that, they said the Republicans were going to win in a big wave for the House and flip the Senate in 2022. They flipped the House by a couple seats, but they're not polling accurately. They're not getting out there and 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 the way that they ask some of the polling questions too, it's not very direct. Like, who are you voting for between Trump and Biden? They ask, what's your opinion of Biden, or how favorably do you view him? When it comes to being Biden and Trump, people aren't going back to Trump. People might not be the most excited about Biden. Sure, maybe he's a little old. He's not the most excitable candidate, but there's sanity and there's insanity, and people are going to vote for somebody that's stable and sane to be president. So I would just tell you that if you feel like you're starting to get into the fear, take a break, turn off the TV, go breathe some fresh air, do something that raises your vibrations that you love to do, that uplifts you. I don't know if they would do another primary, Joni. I feel like they can. I feel like they would be able to have maybe another convention and the Republican Party could vote on bringing somebody else in. That's almost what I'm feeling. I do feel two of the Republican runners are going to be dropping out in the next week or two. I know that Iowa's coming up soon, but I do feel Ramaswamy, he might make it to Iowa. I don't think he'll make it very much longer. DeSantis is trying to hang in there, but his whole campaign infrastructure is imploding in front of him, and he's not getting any money. I do think that Chris Christie will drop out sooner rather than later, but I think he'll end up endorsing Nikki Haley. But right now, I pick up that he's kind of hesitant to fully endorse her, and maybe it's because of her comment that she said that she would pardon him. I'm not sure. I don't think he's quite there yet to give his support behind Nikki Haley, but I do think that he will shortly. I feel like for most of the contest, it will be Trump and Nikki Haley, but I don't see Nikki Haley winning the nomination. I see Ted Cruz being investigated, but I've always felt that he kind of somehow gets out of any jail time or um, any trouble, unfortunately. But it's the end of his career, is what I've picked up, Sharon. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here in just a few. Yes, I do feel health problems for Trump, Mayor. I've said that for a while. If you're new watching, I've said that for probably the last year. I pick up on the brain fog, feeling kind of trapped in the mind, but also too the heart and even the gut. Something doesn't feel quite right in the gut area, the solar plexus area. I felt that Democrats would win the Senate, I felt like they would keep their seats. Besides, I do think West Virginia is going to flip Republican. I've said that. But I do feel like there's an opportunity to flip at least two seats from Republicans to Democrats, and that's going to be really shocking, up to four seats. Um, but I see two really strongly. And I think once Manchin is out, with the seat gain that they had, they'll be able to make the changes to the filibuster to get things done. I've said that for a while. Will DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion still be present in the future for the U.S.? I'm not really exactly sure what that is, Samilia, but I'm hearing a yes, that it will be included into our future. Yeah, read a book. Stop the news. Watch your favorite psychics on YouTube. Watch, um, do the things that lift you up. Read a book. Right. I don't buy the argument that more minorities will vote for Trump than Biden, Casey. I agree. And there's going to be so much that comes out, you guys. It's going to be 2024 is going to be a bit crazy. I mean, the energy's been a bit unsettling in 2023. I feel it kind of continuing into 2024, but more of that accountability and light being shown. Um, so there's going to be a lot. It's going to be a crazy year. Exciting in some aspects. It might be terrifying in some aspects too. But that's why I said it's so important to rise above that fear. Keep that faith. Sit in that positive vibrational energy and use the things that scare you to speak truth to power and to have your voice be heard. Um, it's going to be so important. There's a lot of resistance from this change that's coming in, so that the energy is going to continue to kind of elevate because they're trying to fight so hard against it, but it's going to come crashing down at some point. Um, and I feel like that goes into my prediction of the implosion of the Republican Party. Yes, DeSantis will be going back to being governor after his presidential campaign, Kathy. I'm sorry to say. It feels tough in Florida for a couple of years. I'm not sure when he's up for reelection. I feel like he might make it till the end of his term, but then his career's over. If scandal doesn't take him out before then. No, I feel things de-escalating in 2024, Gene. I don't know if the war is going to be officially over in 2024, but with Putin out of the picture, like I said, I feel like eastern Ukraine and even like the Crimea area, it's going to take them a while to for Ukraine to get back all of their land and territories, but they will get it back. It doesn't feel like it's all of the destruction and you know explosions and all of that. It seems to kind of ramp down spring to summer. I do feel like for the most part though, you could it'll probably be looked upon and said in the future that it ended in 2024. But there might still be some territorial disputes. All right. I think there's a possibility for that, Rossi, but I do think that it's going to be a bit tough in Florida still. But I feel like he's one of the maybe candidates being taken out. Because like I said, I felt like two flips for sure from Republican to Democrats, and then possibly two more. And Rick Scott's in that possibly two more category. I could be wrong. I think Linda G said that she had a hit that Florida turns blue, and I hope she's right. I just always worry about Florida, and even Texas, but with how secure those elections are. But Texas feels much better to me. I did say buckle up last year. I've been saying it for a while, but yeah, 2024, buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. All right. I'm still working on 2024 predictions, Kathy. I have a busy, so far, January is pretty booked with readings and shows, so I'm just going to continue to try to put a little bit of energy into it. And I'm hoping that, hoping sometime in January I'll have it out. In the very least, I'll at least, if it's not a full video, I might just, for one of our Tarot Tuesdays, share all my insights for 2024 and do, take some of your questions for it. But I'm working on, I have some areas that I've wrote down and that I want to look at a little bit more. All right. I don't know if I see him being diagnosed with that, Anya. I do see health challenges for him in 2024, though. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. All right. But if I didn't get to your question today, please stop by. I believe it's going to be live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on Susan Lynn's channel, which I love working with Susan. It's always a lot of fun. And I feel like we get great hits when we're together. So I'm looking forward to that. I should be on Mel's channel Thursday night. I haven't confirmed that yet, but that's the plan. And again, for all of my members or anybody that's interested in membership, this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am doing my members live stream. Let me just get the date real quick. Sorry. The 7th, January 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing my members live, and we'll be doing our Reiki circle and prayer circle. And my crystal grid, you can kind of see it behind me. I'm pointing at it. I put all of the prayers or healing requests and program it into my crystal grid. So that's something I do for my members too. But yeah, lots of fun stuff in the works. So I'm looking forward to all of that. And if anybody would like a reading or a Reiki session, send me an email, kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com, and we can get something set up for you, okay? All right, sending you all a lot of love. Happy New Year's, and I will see you all hopefully tomorrow night on Susan's channel. All right, take care, everyone.